But your husband laying the asphalt.
I did not make a late appearance as I normally do.
It's 4 o'clock on Monday, May the 18th, 2026, and I'm going to call the Economic Improvement Corporation to order our board meeting. And we'll start with an invocation by Denny.
Right. If you'll bow your heads with me. Father, we thank you for this community and for our opportunity to serve it. Grant our board members wisdom, integrity, and spirit of unity as they make decisions tonight. Guide our discussions towards what is just, prudent, and beneficial for all citizens. May your hands be upon this meeting. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. So agenda item number 2 is a visitors forum, and I don't believe we have any.
We have no speakers.
Okay. Number
No
3 is approval of meetings. Does anybody have any changes they want to come into that or suggest for that? Can I have a motion to approve?
Moved.
Second.
And all those in favor? All righty, thank you. And agenda item number 4 is we're moving to our KEDC update with Todd.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Board. Todd Bach, Curry, DC, just here to give you just a little update and a preview of some of the EDC functions that we're currently working on between now and the end of our fiscal year. The EDC operations and strategic efforts to support economic growth, continuing to support existing employers through retention and expansion projects. Currently, we have 2 of those local projects that we're currently working on now, along with working with Workforce Solutions Alamo and the TWC to continue our workforce and our education through our workforce programs. Again, just to continue to set the tone for what EDC and our focus on local businesses and local employers. Supporting existing employers through retention and expansion efforts. We have gone back. Ryan and I were just talking about when I first came on, there was a pathway of gathering some of the local businesses that needed just that little bit of extra business support in the operations of their business. What we learned out of the July 4th flood was there are a lot of small businesses throughout the county that just don't have those skill sets. They're good at what they do, but running a business is just really not part of their game. That's not what they're great at. And we have found, working through Lift Fund and their process of the grants and the process of their loans, that we have a lot of the small businesses that didn't even have financials put together, weren't working in software programs. Everything was kept on a ledger, a handwritten ledger. So one of our goals, we met with Lift Fund about a week and a half ago, and they offer a lot of these technical skill set programs. So what we're going to do with them is Lift Fund can't commit to a long-term program unless, because they'd be dedicating a lot of the programming they do online. We feel that online, and some of the businesses we've talked to just don't feel comfortable doing a course online and are looking to do more in person. And we think the synergies with getting a smaller group of employers together that are needing these skills can feed off of one another with their questioning and their challenges and their problems. So we're working with Lift Fund. Lift Fund can do some of this for us, some of the one-on-ones. But to make this a full-blown program, we're looking to see what that would cost the EDC and have them as a partner to continually having these technical skills and programs that we can put throughout Kerr County for the businesses, especially those that we've identified from the July 4th, and then offer it obviously to everybody. But we know there is a specific group that we can target in and get them in some of these programs. But some of the programs are contracts, leases, succession plans. Managing their funds, elevating their business brand and marketing. Another one that we would like to also include in there is how AI is changing. How can AI help some of these small businesses, those that either don't know enough about AI, like myself, or those that want to look to expand to see how AI can actually help them in their business. And the other is the Master Your Credit. We found out too that a lot of people don't monitor or manage their credit as well. And then when it comes time to submit for these loans, get either turned down or don't know why they were turned down. So again, hopefully that technical skills that we can help offer through Lift Fund and potentially another partner we're talking to also to help come and share that load. I want to show you here, the numbers you see on your screen are not perfected or accurate. This is just kind of to give you guys what is forthcoming. Within our budget, we had requested some funding for a company called EDOIQ, and this is a software company that is an internal CRM system for economic development corporations. I can tell you, when I first came on the EDC board as a board member, this was one of the first things in 2019 that we had decided that we needed and something that we wanted to pursue as an organization. And we finally have it through our funding. And I wanted to kind of give you an idea, probably in the next couple of months, we'll get this perfected. What you see of the 17 projects are actual projects that are in the system, but all the data and the numbers aren't correct. We're going back and we're entering, cataloging in some of the prospects and the projects that we've been working both from Greater SATX and internally here. So we're hoping to be able to get this within the next 2 to 3 months, a little more perfected to present to you so that you can see actual activity and quantify activity through projects and things that the EDC is working on. But not only that, this finally builds some stability within the organization. As executive directors change, this will now be owned by the EDC, and all of this back data, it keeps track of project names, who the project contact is, your contacts through email, where we were on the project, why the project didn't go forward. This way, future directors of the EDC don't have to go through a filing cabinet and look for legal sheets and old folders that are not in any sort of order. It'll be all digitally and it'll be all saved that the EDC will own. And this is what you're going to see. This is just a small sample of how it breaks down the projects, whether it be by project type or whether it be by capital investment and how many employees. And I'll show you the next slide. This is some Greater SATX partnership projects. Out of the 39 projects, you can see the projected capital investments for some of the projects that we get through Greater SATX, job creation, forecasted jobs, a whole plethora of data that we have never had before as we go and we enter into this EDOIQ and learn it ourselves, how to properly enter projects in and get all the data that we can take out. When we get a project too that we're working, it's going to help us give an economic impact to the EIC and to the EDC board as to what that project's impact potentially could be within our community. So looking forward to getting this up and going. I would probably say, again, we're 2 to 3 months out from getting it perfected, but we are going back and we're entering some leads that we currently have, plus other leads that we know of, so that we'll constantly create this database. Any questions to this or the EDOIQ? Super excited about it. I know those of you that know John Anderson, Economic Development Director for Florida, was on the board with me during these times, and John and I, since 2019, were literally wanting this so bad. Coming from the private business, everybody's got CRMs, right? Managing their clients and their customers. Well, this will be a project CRM, an EDC CRM, to help us keep track of projects and report out to our stakeholders with a little better definition. Rebuilding Stronger Workforce and Education Partnership. We will be having our roundtable schedule out soon. We are doing this in conjunction with Schreiner University and Dr. Allen. Texas Workforce Commission. Recently, they've had some changes within their leadership there. Teresa went and was able to meet with all 3 of them personally. And then we corresponded after their meeting with emails. They want to be a part of this and potentially come down and be a part of these roundtables representing the Texas Workforce Commission. And then the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. One of the programs that we were most interested in at the end of last year has been paused. And with TWC, they are reworking that program. So we look forward to seeing what the new program is. I'm thinking they're estimating that that program will probably be in place somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe first quarter of '27 is kind of, I think, what they're shooting for. But that'll be additional programs that we can help through implement to our workforce for the Texas Higher Education grants that they have available. Also, to continue to have a great relationship with Workforce Solutions Alamo, Kerrville Career Center. They are really doing a good job helping me. I'm directing them out to businesses when they contact me about shortfalls with employees or looking for additional employees to hire, and taking advantage of some of the grants that they have at Workforce Solutions. We actually, a leg of that is through that disaster loan, the Department of Labor grant that we received for the displaced employees that we're able to hire. Hoping to get you guys a report on that out soon. It's just very interesting how that has come in and saved several jobs within our community that are being paid through that $890,000 grant that Kirk County qualified for after July 4th. Also, to continue to help with the EDA grant assistance. Michael has an EDA grant that he's working on here at the city, plus there's one out in Ingram that Ingram is going to hopefully be able to qualify for. And Kim Fouts, one of our disaster consultants, is leading that EDA grant assistant process along with Chris Hughes representing the city of Ingram. Wanted to share with you guys, we were notified that the Kerr EDC had been selected to win an award. Myself, Judge Kelly, Teresa Metcalf, Kim Fouts, City Manager Dalton Rice, and Beck Gibson. Beck drove us all down. We met on a very early breakfast. The colors were bright and the music was loud. It's about 7:30 a.m. in the morning with a packed house. There was, I don't know, Beck, what do you say, 350, at least 400 people in that room. And EDC was selected as the Rapid Response Excellence Award for the coordination between the EDC, Workforce Solutions Alamo, in getting the business survey out, working with Workforce Solutions Alamo, having their questions on that survey that they needed to report back to help qualify us for that $890,000 grant, along with implementing Governor Abbott's disaster unemployment program that he had. He announced that out. This all started on the 7th of July. We had it up on the website either that afternoon or the 8th, and then had the Governor Abbott's disaster unemployment program up on the website by the 9th. So we were honored to how quick and how rapid the EDC and the Chamber and Kelly and the city went after those grants and that money. So it was, when I look back in the emails, I was kind of shocked myself how quick all of that came together. But really nice being recognized by them. And then Judge Kelly was honored for his seat on ACOG, and those are the other 4 judges that will be stepping down from their seats. So we had a really good time, really wonderful experience, and it was great to be recognized as a community. And that's all I have for today. Any questions or comments on?
The Lift Fund people were in town last week. They stopped by my store and I talked to them. And I heard afterwards that they did a presentation, I guess, for people at the Arcadia, which I hadn't known about. But can you give your thoughts on that presentation?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, Lift Fund put that on just for, number 2, to let the community know we still have some money available through their grant program. But number 2, it was also to recognize the Community Foundation for their funding. And it was also to let the community aware that Lift Fund knows the challenges that small business have in disasters. They work these all over the country. And they are working very diligently with legislation on both the state and the federal level to get some reform in the way in which disaster recovers small business. We will be obviously working with them and will be communicating on behalf of Kerr County as someone that just recently went through such a devastating disaster, to create the state's awareness and the federal awareness that, however, we are very grateful to have SBA, but in recovery after disaster, SBA is the only option that communities have. And business recovery is nowhere near the forefront of anybody's mind in recovery. Well, Kerr County has made that very well one of the priorities that we look at to have a community recover after disaster. And it fit right in line with LIFT funds. They've been working on this for years. We will work with them on moving that legislation along with a couple of the other Concho Valley, and we'll be working with Travis County. They're same problem. They have the same exact thing. We were blessed with money that came into the community foundation to help fund LIFT fund. If you don't have that, you have the SBA loans, and that's your only option. About a month ago or so, I was watching the news and the floods in North Carolina. There was a shoe manufacturer in town, and they had him on national press coverage because he had just received $100,000 a year and a half later. And that was the news, that he received $100,000 a year and a half later to help restore his business in North Carolina. And that's what we want to stand up in partnership with LIFT Fund and champion the fact that we do need to go and change legislation and change the way disaster recovery is looked at for small business. Even to the point of where, allocating funds, I won't go too deep into this, but the state having a pool of funds that are set aside and designated for disaster. And when that disaster declaration hits, then it's your long-term recovery groups that come in and dictate and guide that money. Just like if we would have had additional monies to come in and resources that we could have allocated to those businesses. We were blessed to have the Community Foundation, and we were blessed to have the Chamber Foundation and West Kerr Chamber Foundation, West Kerr Chamber, and to have the Comfort Chamber to help solicit money on their own and collectively through the Community Foundation to give those grants out so rapidly. Other communities just don't have that. They just don't have access to it. So it was kind of an appreciation event, and plus they wanted as many legislatures there as possible to show support that we as a community are going to support their efforts in going and soliciting those funds.
I wasn't there, but one of the messages I heard that was delivered was that while the loans were great, the grants were really where people needed. And the concern is that a lot of these businesses are still struggling, and they got loans, and now they have more debt to service. Any thoughts on that? Was that a right theme in that conversation?
Absolutely, that was the theme in Kerr County. And I would assume that's going to be the theme in every county, right? You just assume that small business mentality is, if I've been operating without debt and I'm only successful at this level of ROI in my business with no debt, what does this debt throw me into? What we have tried to go out in Kerr County's scenario is, and we're working with LIFT Fund to do this. LIFT Fund can't solicit, but LIFT Fund can come to us and say, hey, do you know these people? They're here, they qualify, we need them to come in and take this loan. Because in any business, Denny, you know this, you may not need it today, but we don't know what this summer's going to look like, right? They lost a full, complete summer's worth of cash flow. We're urging these businesses to go see LIFT Fund and take that 0% loan in the meantime to find out. If you don't need it, you have it. You're not going to find money any cheaper anywhere else. Go get the 0% loan, put it in your bank, put it in a CD, make the next few payments to get you through the summer. So anybody that you guys can run into that know they need it, we're telling everybody, please go get these 0% loans. Take advantage of it. You can always give the money back, no prepayment to do that. But buy yourself some time. And, we've had a couple of other meetings too that a lot of small businesses don't have a revolving line. That's another thing that we're going to push in our roundtables is go get a revolving line so that you can have it in case of emergency. It's a resiliency piece of this. Have that money there in case you need it. But obviously the grants, both through all the chambers and through LIFT Fund, was dissolved the quickest and the most needed at the time, right? That was just, there was, I don't mean this negatively, but there was just this is not an SBA problem. It's an SBA policy problem. It wasn't the SBA folks that were here on the ground helping us. They were extremely helpful, and I was very grateful. I'm sure y'all saw Gabriel here come before you guys. He was a great asset for me to have to help, but it's their their policies in which they get that money out in a disaster, it's just backwards. If you come in and you're credit worthy, you pay 8%. If you come in and you're not credit worthy and you qualify, you get 4%. So then we had businesses going, wait a minute, my next door business got 4% and I got 8%. How does that work? And so it's just some policy changes that need to happen. And we need SBA. It's not like we don't need SBA. They play a role. They play a role in this too. We need the SBA along with stacked with a local, state pot of funds that are eligible to small businesses in an area when a disaster is declared. Any questions, comments?
I think you're doing great. I think so.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody's responding quickly and thoroughly, and there's a lot of bases to cover, but you're getting a lot of them covered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. A lot of people helping.
Anybody else have any comments? Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. Okay, we are to item number 4B, and this is our EIC.
I don't have any pictures for today, and I know, I'm sorry about that. It was Kyle's last day, so I figured I was just gonna highlight a couple of the items on here, though, for things that are going on. Scott Turner Golf Course, staff approached the council about looking to go out and see about managed services for the golf course. And so we're in that process of putting the request for proposals together. And so we'll probably have that go out in the next few weeks.
You mean the maintenance part of it?
All of it. I mean, I think we'll consider all options, right? We can do, one is the agronomy, one is, the whole ball of wax, and one is just, I guess one would be just the managed services of the marketing of it. So 3 different tiers is what we would look at, and see what comes back. And so it'd still be a city golf course. I think it would benefit the community. As much as I love golf and have worked at golf courses my entire life and know a lot, I'm not in the golf industry. I'm not a golf agronomist. I'm not a certified golf professional, right? And so I think it benefits us to go take a look at that, right? And so
Prune or something like that, are you talking about?
that's an option, right? Lady Bird is managed, well, it used to be managed by 2 brothers in their company, and they just sold out. Bandit, also managed by a third party.
Todd Troon initially was to be part of the management of.
They helped during the renovation, right? And so there are a lot of companies who service this kind of activity. And so I'm sure that they'll put in a proposal, right? But I don't want to be presumptuous about who's going to put in. Everybody's going to have a different style, and for us, it's a huge community asset. We want to make sure they take good care of it. It's not just another notch on a belt. A lot of them have dozens of, maybe if not hundreds, of golf courses under the belt, and your management fees are high, and what's the impact that you're getting. And so we want somebody who's going to be able to come in and really understand our golf course, our needs that are particular to our town. So should get a pretty good response, we're hoping. The Olympic pool renovations, so still ongoing, still going to be shut down for the summertime. We have made an agreement with the Kroc Center, and so this is between the city and the Kroc Center. So the Kroc Center is going to honor for $1, let folks in to come enjoy the pool from. I'm gonna get it wrong now. Our hours that we had, I think 1 to 6 is what it is. I don't want to say noon and then be wrong and some mom yell at me because they got there at noon. But to match our hours through the summer, and I think actually a few weeks beyond what our schedule was going to be. So we're thankful to them for allowing that, which is going to be the kids aren't going to miss out on their summer programming.
But that'll be daily.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll wait
They're
through
only,
the
they're,
weekend as well.
they're only, the difference that they have is our closure days were Mondays, their closure days are Sundays. Yeah. Cali Theater, it's punch list items. It's a lot of punch list items. Not a lot of punch list items, it's just persistent. We're just getting it done. Travis Street Pump Station upsizing. So this is a project that we'll bring back to council at the next meeting. It's a long list of things on this project. This project started as an item in our 2022 master plan at $557,000. And that was for inline pumps. So there's just a tube of water, and we have pumps that are in line with that, feeding that water at 150 gallons a minute. And upsizing those to 600 gallons per minute. Whenever this estimation was done, said, well, we've had these inline pumps for 20 years. We don't need anything beyond that. So that was the quote. Submitted that to TCEQ. TCEQ and us have gone back and forth since the beginning of last year. And they have said that, no, you need to have a tank to accommodate this. And we have said, no, that's going to create other issues. We don't need this. This is not, they think it will create a vacuum behind the water. I found that it's not worth arguing because I'm not going to win. And so we finally got to a place where we were like, okay, we feel comfortable. And we put in another $250,000 into the $750,000 that you all kicked in for this project to $1 million. We got our bids back the other day, and our low bid came back at $1.35 million. So had we done all this prior to the uncertainty in the markets, maybe we would have been closer to $1 million. Turns out our electrical components were the biggest costs up. The petroleum products weren't as affected, which was strange to us. It was strange. And so we have, through finance's help, engineering sat down. We have some savings from some bond series, and we're going to take that recommendation to City Council for that project to go forth at the end of this month. So not done with that discussion, but we're hopefully finding a path forward.
I was thinking that you had said last time that Lanier was going to kick in some.
So we had discussions with Lennar, and the recommendation from staff at this point is not to go that route because Lennar's in the same boat that we're in is one consideration. They said, well, our bids came back in almost double what we were hoping for. And they said, we would love to help if we can amend our TERS agreement and if we can increase the number of years or increase the percentages. And now this conversation is not finished. We'll bring this up as a talking point with council. But the dollars and cents of it is cheaper for us to use that interest revenue now than amend that TERS agreement to add years to it or to add percentage points to it. So the staff recommendation will be to use that interest earnings from the water bonds. But yeah, that was the conversations I had with Lennar, and it's been an interesting couple weeks on that project. So not done yet, but one of these days I get to come back to you guys and say, oh, that $1 million was really just a $500,000. Swear to God. Moving on to number 7, Granger McDonald Park. So we are going to put this project out to bid. We spoke with some members of the GRC board about, there isn't extra funding out there at this point. But nobody wants to stall or slow down or do anything because we want them to get started. We want to get started. And so our plan is to bid the project with the boardwalk and the kayak launches as alternates. And so if we can get the base bid under the $2.2 million, that will build the park, that will build the boat launch. And then phase 2 with the GRC will have to be a second phase of installing boardwalk and putting in the kayak launches. So we are waiting on, what are we waiting on there? As a part of the flood, we had to have a post-flood mussel survey done, and another, I think we talked about it last time, another $35,000 to check to see if any mussels were damaged. And so once we find that out, then we can put the project out for bid. I think we should be able to put it out for bid at the same time, even if they have to do that survey, because we can start away from the water on the project and then move down phases. And that is about all I've got. James Avery's got some good traction on their conversations with TxDOT, but they are still waiting a signed donation agreement from them. I'm gonna keep doing this one for a while, I think. And with that, that's all I've got, and take any questions that y'all might have.
Michael, how are things going with replacement for Kelly?
I got a good candidate today. So I hadn't had a chance to call her yet. But prior to that, it was slim pickings.
That would be new information for the board.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. At the time
It
you
has
guys
not been
had your
announced.
last board meeting.
She was here.
She was here and she hadn't put her notice in, so it wasn't really my purview to kind of talk through that. But yeah, Kelly has moved on. She has taken a job with the long-term recovery group to do project management. Project manager is the title, right? And so she's not going far. She's going to keep working. Her main project for me is working on the EDA grant with me. So sad to see her go, but she felt a calling and has a passion for it. She wanted to keep working in that vein, and so yeah, so we do have a vacancy. Yeah. Kind of
So
sucks.
what does that mean for the agreement that we passed last month?
You'll save a little bit for about a few weeks while we hire somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So your agreement you'd signed was for $25,000 for the remainder of this year, and then $100 for next year. But while we don't have anyone in the position, you wouldn't pay for anything, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Todd's fault. No. Callie left on great terms. She is a fantastic person, employee, colleague. We're excited for her. It is, it's a little busier on my plate for a minute or two. But got time.
Will we know who the candidate is? Are you able to share that information with the board?
No. Sorry. They're not your employees, technically. They work for the city. So, yeah. But that's a good question, right? Yeah.
Just a candidate.
At this point, it is just a candidate. I think if we, I think I'm at one candidate that I feel strongly about, and that was the one I got today. So, hadn't really got past that point.
Would it be fair to say you're looking to hire somebody by the end of the month, or?
As soon as I can. Absolutely, as soon as I can. Yeah. I mean, I want to hire, to me, I always want to hire the right person. I don't want to hire somebody just to fill a seat. I hate that. I think that's a waste of everybody's time. I want to hire somebody who's got the right attitude. We can train just about everything else. It helps that somebody's got a background for, this kind of work. But their attitude is the most important thing for me. That's always, has and always will be the way I hire folks.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So one good thing is that the Shriner House
That's open.
opened.
It's open, yes, indeed. We have to keep forgetting. Okay, we haven't
Did you-
talked since then.
Did anybody go to the, oh, great.
Oh,
I was out of town. That looked like it was well attended.
That was, it was the HHHC folks running that event, so it's a little interesting because, you know, it's not our ribbon cutting, it was their ribbon cutting. And yeah, Heart of the Hills Heritage Center, so they've taken over and we're just about out. One or two things left to do. But they're operating in there.
Good.
So we wish them all the best. They've got a management agreement for that one, and we look forward to seeing how busy that museum gets.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for Michael or comments or projects? All right, thank you, Michael. So we're at item 4C. This will be our financial report with Trina.
Financial report. Good evening, everyone. All right, so we're looking at April financials and on to your revenue bonds here. So interest revenue for the bonds this month was $32,072. Down in your projects, you spent $1,362,000, and you can see that is the golf course improvements, a little bit on the Callow Theater, and then Olympic Pool paid out a lot, $1.3 million. So that leaves your bond proceeds minus those project expenses about $7,109,000 remaining to go. Interest earnings minus your arbitrage liability is at $1,394,000. And again, that's just set aside. Your arbitrage so far is $560,000, but that will dwindle as, you know, as time goes by. All right, and that is pretty much it on your revenue bonds. Things are moving. Okay, your statement of activities on your operational dollars here. So sales tax, $372,517 for the month, and that was up 7.6% over last April. Looking at our comptroller report, so the top categories, as always, they're 10% plus up. That's retail, trade, manufacturing, wholesale, and construction. So I know everybody's been curious as to what post-flood recovery was going to do to sales tax, and it's really hard to dissect because when these entities or the companies went to the comptroller to sign up for their business license or whatnot, they selected the category that their sales fall into. So, for example, if you're thinking Home Depot or something like that, to us that's like wholesale or construction, but they in fact are retail at the comptroller's side. So for what we think is supposed to be construction, you know, it comes out to something else. But even so, it's one of the top categories, and it's moving. So we want to kind of take that into consideration come budget time so that we know what not to count on going forward for fiscal year 27. But I just want to make that point there. So with April sales tax coming in, looks like you're at $3,034,000 for the year, and we are above our estimate by about $93,000. Your next income down is your interest revenue, $26,419,000 for the month, and year to date, $189,000. So we're better than estimate by about $50,000 for the year. All right, down to your expenditure section. So just monthly City of Kerrville payment for $18,000, and then your monthly debt service for $213,000. And then on your projects down below, you did pay out a payment for Travis Street Pump Station, $13,700, and then we did issue that first infrastructure payment to Lennar per your contract, year one payment. Because of that payment, we have a net change in April of a negative $1,846,000 for the month, but that was expected and we knew that. All right, cash flow. So just basically you're sitting at $4.9 million at the end of April, balance in the bank, and finishing out the year, you're about $4.7 million. So just wanted to give you that so that, you know, if you approve this contract coming up for this engineering, we can see where we're at. And then on the financial analysis, top chart is sales tax comparisons month over month and year over year. So right now, the 12-month rolling average for sales tax is up 5%. And again, there's a lot of things that go into that we're going to have to take out and consider for the future. We don't want to project too high. Middle section there is your cash analysis. Basically, your EIC tax pool is earning 3.79% right now. That is exactly flat with last year. The feds met at the end of April, and they did hold on the interest rates. Obviously, we We have things going on in the Middle East and just a lot of political things, and then oil and gas issues. And in fact, unemployment is actually holding steady, so there's really not a need to make that shift on the interest rates at the moment. And then down to your projects, just remaining commitments you have, and we will add on this engineering contract if that is so approved for your projects commitments. All right, anything else?
Anybody have any questions
No.
of Trina?
We will have budget coming up. We will present in July
Can we
for
go back
that.
for just a second?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, the last few months, you've been pulling out highlights to the right-hand side, and I think that has been really helpful.
Yeah, to
So-
follow us down for a point.
So thank you for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And just want to let you know that coming in July's meeting, we will go through the budget with you. Just if y'all have anything that you want to suggest, or we do always have in a line item training and legal services, just so keep those things in mind if anyone on the board would like to be a part of training conferences or anything like that. Alrighty. That's all I have.
May I have any other questions, comments? Thank you, Trina.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are going to move to item 5A, and I need to read this whole thing, so bear with me. This is going to be looking at the resolution number 22-2026, a resolution by the Board of Directors of the City of Kerrville, Texas Economic Improvement Corporation, moving forward with the financing of a wastewater infrastructure project in the approximate principal amount of $500,000 and setting a public hearing on the expenditure of sales tax revenues here relating thereto, providing a notice of the specific project to be undertaken, approving and authorizing the publication of a notice of the public hearing relating to these matters, and approving other matters in connection therewith. Okay, so what we talked
done.
about last month is we talked about, we had a unanimous approval that we wanted to move forward on financing the design of this infrastructure project. And on the materials that they sent out to us, I do want to mention that that the materials say Thursday the 18th at 6 o'clock for the public hearing, and Michael and I are proposing that we move that to Monday the 15th, our regular EIC meeting at 4 o'clock. So that will change. So do y'all want to have a discussion about the resolution? Is there anything else that you want to say about this before we vote on having this public hearing?
Should it say that it is for the engineering
For the design?
design?
Look what it says.
Resolution, I'm glad you did, Denny. Oh, no, the actual resolution that was in our,
Oh, on its surface, no, I mean, it passes all the muster we need for,
Move to approve item 5A.
A second.
okay, all those in favor? And that will be with the with the change to the dates of April the 15th at 4 o'clock.
June the 15th.
Not April.
Of June. Really? We're moving forward?
So it is a bit of a lengthy process. We'll have to have this, and then we have the public hearing where the agreement between the EIC and the city is considered, and then that agreement will go to city council. And then at city council will consider the agreement, and then city council will also consider the agreement between the engineering firm and the city to do the project. We have to publish the notice in the paper, which we will do as soon as we practically can. And then in practice, it says that when you expend funds over $10,000 on projects using type B dollars, there's a 60-day period where 10% of the registered voters of the city can form a petition to put this item to the voters in November. It's a weird piece of state law. I've never seen it happen. It won't happen here. You know, and contentious project issues, it hasn't happened. Like, it didn't happen that for the use of the River Trail dollars that people got up and registered. So anyway, there's a lot of minutia in all this. So next step is a public hearing and the agreement. That's y'all's next piece.
Has there been any progress in the last 30 days in talking to those two main developers that would be affected by this?
They're participating. Yep. So we've got their participation agreements in place.
That's new, because last month you said one of them hadn't.
That was the third one, there was 3.
Holdout. One of the holdouts.
Y'all did your thing.
Good.
Yes. I think it helped because it was probably in the news that they hadn't. At this point, there's one piece. So we are going to have a small contract with the engineers right now because we have to have. It's amazing to me sometimes how much information is needed to apply for something. So we have water and wastewater master plans that are hundreds of pages long. We have project-specific stuff for this that are just a cheat sheet, essentially, but they need a preliminary engineering report as well. So it's a, I don't know, Cliff Notes version of what you're about to pay for. And we're doing that now through the city, just getting it done as fast as we can. But it was one of those things hidden away, and not hidden away, but the grant application is long and large. And when engineering saw what they were asking for, they were like, yeah, we don't have that in our hip pocket. We have to get somebody, it's a specific thing that they ask for.
So these two major developments are waiting on, and this is a key thing for them to really move forward. I mean, not that they can do some other things in the meantime, but until that gets done, neither one of them can do too much.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a long process for sure. There's a lot of work for everybody to be done. You know, I think they want to wait and see that we actually get the award before they'll go hard and heavy on what they're wanting to do. But once they do and we're ready to go, that'll be, I think we're all moving at 100 miles an hour.
So will the city council also have to have a public hearing, schedule a public hearing for this?
They will.
Have a public hearing on it.
This is why he's sitting here, because I don't know the answers. I don't want to know all the answers to those
I
questions.
thought I remembered that from some other things that we've done.
It's so much
There you go.
sometimes, and it changes. The professional services, like the administrative services contract you approved last time, that's not the same way, right? And so that's why lawyers.
Well, it has to be done in
Go
sequence. You can't double up the time or anything.
Does their public hearing come 30 days and then there's another 60 days after that? Or
No,
that can
ma'am.
be a part of that?
It's 30 day. Well, that 60-day notice is after the publication for this.
Oh.
This publication.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
Because council in every economic development corporation throughout the state that's part of a city, the city councils all ratify your agreements. So they all have to approve those.
and so can this not go to the city council until after our public hearing?
No, well, yeah, yes.
We
So
have to wait
y'all
for
will
the
be
public hearing.
first. The public hearing needs to be first, and then you consider the agreement, yes, no. If it's yes, then council will take it on the next week. So it's
Okay.
not far behind.
Okay.
And then it'll take, between when the award gets given, it'll take a few weeks for all the insurance and the bonds and all the rest of it from the engineering firm before they'll have a notice to proceed. We'll be at 60 days,
Okay.
pretty well right then.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions about that? And so we don't have a need for item 6, executive session, unless there's something that somebody felt the need to go into executive session on. And next is item 8, any items for future agendas that people want to add? Okay, so before I adjourn, I just want us all to say thank you to Kyle for his years of service on the EIC and the
Pleasure.
things that you've done. Is there anything that stands out for you about what happened while you were on the board?
Oh my gosh, probably just this big bond that we passed and all the projects that got done with that.
Yeah, I mean,
All the things we've done, that's probably the biggest.
I think so too. And for the city, I mean, it's already major differences for the city. So let's give Kyle an ovation. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for all you do too. Appreciate it.
I do have one thing.
Okay.
We'll bring it back up at the next meeting. You'll appoint officers at the June meeting. I believe it's the June meeting that we do that.
Yes.
And Kyle was the representative for the Go Team. And so we'll need to appoint someone to do that. We may actually have a need for that prior to the June meeting. And so I might ask Ryan if he would stand in the gap for the month.
Sure.
And do that if we had a need for it, just for the Go Team to meet and discuss. If y'all are okay with all
Very
that.
few meetings for the Go Team.
Yeah.
Now that you're leaving,
Yeah.
I probably have a need for one. That's how it always
been-
works.
It's been sparse.
Yeah, very few.
So informal for now, but if that's okay. And we'll have those items on the agenda for next time.
Okay,
Be happy to fill in.
well, good for that.
Yep.
All right, it's 4:51 and we are adjourning this meeting.
Very nice.